Modest is one of the most frightening cryptid internet creatures created by Trevor Henderson. In just a few years, the Canadian artist's name has traveled around the world and has become truly iconic. Monsters of the Illustrator in a matter of days gain thousands of likes, reposts and subscriptions. Thanks to his creations, Henderson has become one of the most sought-after specialists in the field of illustration. Particular attention from the audience won Trevor's creature called Modest. It is believed that this is the most dangerous and unpredictable monster, capable of harming a person and even taking his life. Trevor Henderson's creatures are childhood horrors that come to life before your eyes and become a tangible reality. SCP-096 pictures are creepy and cause uncontrollable anxiety not only in children, but also in adults. Who is Modest? All information about SCP-096. The creature with the unusual name of Modest appeared thanks to the imagination of Canadian illustrator Trevor Henderson. Since childhood he was fond of horrors and monsters, which predetermined the future profession of the then still small boy. Parents have always supported their son in creative impulses, so Henderson received the appropriate education and fully immersed in work. Modest hunts primarily at night and attacks almost silently. Interesting fact: at the beginning of his career path, Trevor did not even think that he would become an internet sensation. The highlight of the artist became cryptid monsters, possessing incredible realism and a touch of documentary. Henderson's concept turned out to be quite simple, but also ingenious. As a basis, the illustrator takes photos taken in real places, on which he later superimposes creatures of unusual appearance. Finished pictures Trevor processes, after which he publishes in social networks with shocking and mysterious captions. There are also videos about Modest, released by bloggers who try to find answers to all the mysteries of Henderson. The selfie photos quickly traveled the web and went viral. Popular bloggers supported the artist's idea and launched the trend, "cursed pictures," on the internet. Thus, the illustrator's works began to gain more and more recognition and demand. Today, almost all social media users have heard about the artist and his monsters, which include Siren Head, Cartoon Cat, Puppet, the God of Roadkill, the Long Horse, Giant Puppeteer, etc. SCP-096 especially dangerous and invulnerable. All of Trevor's characters have their own backstory. Gradually, the author tells people about this or that creature through special captions, reinforcing the interest of the audience and creating an unprecedented excitement. Among the artist's monsters, the Modest Man stands out strongly. Many people believe that this creature can actually exist, so they are interested in its appearance, character and habits. Special brave people even hunt for SCP-096 and wish to see it with their own eyes. It is not known whether there is a connection between the Siren Head and the Modest, as the author does not disclose this information, but some eyewitnesses claim to have seen them together. Nevertheless, Henderson himself claims that many of his characters inhabit different universes, so they rarely cross paths and can only come together for one mission or another. SCP's Shyman and the Shyman number in the monster universe. SCP-096, called the Modest Man, is a humanoid creature with a height of about 2.5 meters. The appearance of this monster is capable of frightening even the most staunch and desperate person. The illustrator showed all his imagination and endowed the monster with the following features: little muscle mass and skinny body, disproportionately long arms, about 1.5 meters each, no hair of any kind, pale, light-colored skin, lack of pigmentation, vulnerability to all weapons. The main feature of the entity is its jaws, which can open 4 times wider than the norm for the average human when needed. Many of a cryptid's features are similar to those of a human, with the exception of the eyes, which lack a pupil and any color. This is interesting. Scientists cannot yet figure out if the Skromnik is blind or has good eyesight. Numerous studies have not been able to show how intelligent this monster, but managed to confirm its extreme aggressiveness towards any living creature. In the absence of such, the monster leads a fairly quiet and monotonous life. He walks along the walls most of the day. A person who saw the face of the Modest begins to behave strangely, and sometimes inadequately. People who met him come to a state of emotional and uncontrollable outburst. So, men and women can sharply cry, sit down and cover themselves with their hands, scream, mutter, etc. At this point, the monster runs up to the victim and kills it. This character is particularly bloodthirsty, as he prefers mass slaughter and violence. Virtually no one has ever survived an encounter with a Skromnik. When hunting, the Scrooge goes through several phases. The inactive phase, the monster is in a dormant state. The rage phase. Rage, the speed of movement increases extremely. The Scrooge begins to kill and overcome any obstacles. Rollback after hunting. The SCP abruptly returns to its normal position. In its dormant state, the creature cannot attack or assault living objects. There are many pictures of SCP-096 Modesty's SCP both on camera and in a period of aggression that can be found on the internet. The best time to attack the entity is during ability rolls. Otherwise, the monster will quickly dismantle its enemy. Hunting SCP Modest. And what does SCP-096 look like in real life? During the hunt, SCP-096 Skromnik moves with incredible speed, about 35 km per hour, and is able to easily pass any obstacles. To catch such a monster is almost impossible, so it is defined in the category of the most dangerous and unpredictable. At the moment, researchers have not been able to create any weapon that would be able to defeat the creature or catch it. Dozens of tests have not given the desired result, so researchers are still working on this invention. People who have encountered the entity begin to behave very strangely. A particularly telling case was the one that occurred during the apprehension of the Skromnik by Zulu Squad 9A. Almost the entire squad was destroyed by SCP-096 in just a few minutes. Fact: only the captain managed to survive after the bloody mission. As luck would have it, he managed to turn his face away from the monster during the period when all the other subordinates were subjected to its charms and fell into an incomprehensible seizure. Monster Hunt. During the interview, he revealed that the Zulu 9A fighters used several weapons: a GAU-19 large-caliber machine gun and an AT-4 head anti-tank gun. More than 650 rounds were fired at the entity, but the target remained virtually unharmed. The captain noted that one of the bullets tore off half of the monster's torso, but it did not even pay attention to this and continued killing people. In 100% of cases, the SCP managed to escape without leaving behind any traces or clues. The monster can wipe out a group of armed military personnel in a matter of minutes, so catching it is a priority. At the moment, Modest has been assigned the status of Euclid, so the military has directed all its forces to its complete destruction. What to do when you meet with Modest 096? Staying alive after an encounter with SCP-096 is almost impossible. The only thing that a person can do in such a situation is to look in the opposite direction from the face of the monster and navigate by the exhaustive crying that he emits. If you hear that the creature begins to gradually approach, the victim should run away as far as possible. In this case, you will have a small chance to survive. The most important thing is not to look into the eyes of the entity. When encountering SCP-096, you should avert your eyes in the opposite direction. You should not attack SCP-096 Modest by yourself or in a crowd, as there is no weapon that can significantly injure or kill him. The maximum that you will be able to do is to cause him a little damage. Keep in mind that Modest has a certain period of time during which he regenerates his abilities. For example, after the rage stage, he needs about 10 seconds to roll back his own abilities. Only during this time a person can calmly look at him and try to wound. This is interesting. By the sounds made by the Modest, you can understand exactly what phase he is in at the moment. On the network there are audio recordings of the Modest one screaming, by which it is easy to determine when he is calm and when he is active. Many people wonder if SCP-096 exists in real life. There are no reliable facts that indicate the monster's presence in reality yet. Researchers believe that the Skromnik is just a fiction of Trevor Henderson, which does not have any living prototypes. The Modest man's true identity is revealed during his rampage. Game with Modest and gameplay. This character has gained the greatest popularity in the game. Initially, he is endowed with the following parameters: 1500 HP, health points, 350 Hume shield, additional shield and armor points. Once in the adventure, the player will constantly hear the Scrooge's screams. At first, Modest will be in a calm stage, but as players approach, he will begin to go on a rampage, kicking in doors and elevators, screaming, etc. Shots and the use of some other weapon can intensify the approaching rage. SCP-096 defeats the man. Anyone who looks into the creature's face will be instantly targeted and will receive a distinctive beeping sound. The Modest Man's hunting phase will last about 15 seconds. To win the game you can: do not look into the creature's eyes or shoot it. To pass the SPC you should look at the floor and not jump, and navigate the space only by the entity's cries and footsteps. If there is a delay during the roll, you can deal damage to the shy man. It is best not to approach the enemy on your own. Apply the Hunter method. When the creature is detected, start charging micro-HID and look at it, then quickly eliminate it. Experienced players can try to chase the monster and shoot it in the back. Ambush it and view the surrounding area from an invisible point. If you want, you can play not only for humans, but also the Modest Man himself. To win the round, it is best to team up with SCP-173, if there is one in the round. In this case, the triumph will be almost instantaneous, as it forms a double combo, which almost no one has managed to overcome yet. A number of other recommendations should also be followed. Avoid armed players during the rest phase. When facing an opponent armed with micro-HID, avoid eye contact, which can immediately trap you in a death trap. Remember that the more opponents look at Modest, the longer his rage becomes. In the upgraded version, SCP-096 can hack the gate to summon his ally. Press the LKM attack during the rage. Fact: there is one bug present in the game. So, sometimes you can see several Modest men on the map at the same time, but the one who first met the player will go into rage, or one of them will stay in the endless rage mode. A humble man on the subway. Trevor Henderson's creatures have left their mark on world culture. SCP-096 coloring books have been released especially for children, as well as Lego Modest. The Canadian illustrator's characters have been the subject of numerous video reviews from bloggers with multi-million-dollar audiences, including Billy Styler, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Through their work, people can learn more about who Modest is, his appearance and character. The release of figures with monsters was engaged in one of the large companies, so soon enough in the sale you can see various toys of the Skromnik, as well as other unusual creatures. In addition, in the network you can see a lot of pictures of Skromnik, created by other illustrators. Skromnik's tattoos. Trevor Henderson's monsters are so beloved by people that some of the fans of his creativity began to stuff tattoos with cryptid internet creatures. Often such images reflect a person's love for everything mysterious, enigmatic and unexplainable. In some cases, they can personify the character traits of the bearer. Some cruelty, aggressiveness, temper, ability to reincarnate, etc. Such tattoos are nabbed by both men and women. Special attention tattoo masters pay special attention to the elaboration of details, trying to convey his image as fully and brightly as possible. Performed images as in black and white, and color. It all depends only on the wishes of the client. Not for nothing, Trevor Henderson's works are considered the best in their genre. The original approach to work and new ideas have provided the illustrator's monsters with worldwide fame and popularity. Thanks to the realism of his creatures became truly viral and gave rise to several trends that flew around all corners of the internet. Modest is one of Henderson's most original and intimidating characters. He made a lot of noise, so users are still debating whether Modest exists in real life and whether there is a chance to meet a cruel monster on your way deep at night, from which it is almost impossible to escape.